Today we're looking at 10 trending tabletop titles in 10 minutes. The games on this list come from the hotness on Board Game Geek, and with 10 minutes to go over all the games, if there are any extra details that I need to include, you can find those in the description of this video. The first game is Disrupt, and it's available to back on Kickstarter right now. Disrupt is a 1 to 4 player asymmetric game about Silicon Valley. The roles in Disrupt are the startup founder, the angel investor, the BPO, and market leader. All 4 roles have unique cards, advantages, and actions, but all are primarily concerned with the success of various projects. Projects in this game are represented by tiles that will slide through various stages in a pipeline: design, development, and marketing. In each of these phases, the quality of the projects will be manipulated by the players, as represented by cubes placed on the tile. At the end of the game, all projects are compared and market share in each arena is split between them, with players being rewarded for their share in the project company. This game will have players buying and selling stock, manipulating the public opinion, and managing projects through a unique worker placement mechanic where workers will activate every space in a column, but are left to block the bottommost space in the column. The next game is Revive for 1 to 4 players. Revive is a campaign-style game in which players are different factions of evolved humans reclaiming a recovering planet centuries after an apocalyptic collapse. Revive has no rounds or phases, but is played in turns, with each player taking 2 actions. Or, when all of the resources are spent, they can use their entire turn to hibernate and reset the board. Generally, players want to explore, build, or repopulate the surface, but to gain the resources to do this, they'll play cards onto their player board and trigger chain reactions that utilize their unique player abilities, bonus actions, technologies, and player board enhancements. This game is easy to learn, yet complex in how much there is to think about. The next game is Applejack, which is a new Uwe Rosenberg game. It is currently available in German editions, and the English edition should be available soon. It's kind of like a more complex version of Patchwork. Each turn, a die moves around a track. The new position of the die determines which tiles are available for you to draft. You must take 1 tile from either side of the die. These tiles have a cost in the game's currency, honey, but can also earn honey through adjacency bonuses. The tiles have different types of apples on them, and when the die crosses an apple on the track, every player receives income based on how many apples of that type are grouped together on their player board. The next game is Books of Time, which is going to be released later this year, possibly as soon as June, and it has an action selection mechanic unlike anything I've ever seen before. In Books of Time, players will score points by assembling pages into books such that the icons on the pages satisfy player objectives. So while set collection is the objective, the action selection mechanic is unlike anything I've seen before. On a player's turn, they can activate the action on the 2 sides of the book. Then they can turn the page, opening up new actions. Since each player is constructing 3 books as they play the game, each player is going to have a completely unique set of actions. At any point, a player can reset a book, turning it back to the beginning, and as they flip back, they will once again earn the benefit on the left side of the book. In other words, more pages means more rewards whenever you flip your book back to the beginning. The next game is Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory, and it is a government simulation. This is a very heavy game. Its 36-page rulebook is based on actual academic principles that enable a government to function. The structure of gameplay is simple enough. Each round, players will draw 8 cards from their own deck and take turns playing 1 card until 6 cards have been played. But what makes this game stand out is the asymmetric player factions and how thematically fleshed out they are. The capitalist will build companies, sell products, and pay employees and taxes. Their goal is to earn money. The working class wants to find employment, earn fair wages. In fact, if wages are unfair, they can go on strike, and have leftover after expenses to increase prosperity. Middle class is a hybrid of working class and capitalists, as they can build and work for their own companies. All of these roles want to influence policies that are managed by the final faction, the state, whose objective is to keep everyone happy by helping everyone and receives points when its help is utilized by the other players. The next game is Darwin's Journey by the Italian designers behind Newton, Barrage, and Golem. Basically, this is a worker placement game where players will advance on different tracks. The tracks represent exploring the Galapagos Islands, which is how they will collect specimen tiles and develop the theory of evolution. What makes this particular worker placement game unique is that not all workers are equal in this game. Each worker is represented by a card and has their own attributes that represent their fluency in navigation, exploration, and knowledge. Furthermore, the action spaces are not fixed in this game, but a player can unlock actions during the game, and once unlocked, that player will receive a reward anytime their opponents use their action space. The next game is Ark Nova, a 1-to-4 player game in which players compete for the best zoos. They do this by cycling through 5 action cards that will help them draft different types of cards to add to their zoo to gain abilities, satisfy objectives, increase ticket sales, and improve their zoo's conservation efforts. The trending topic concerning Ark Nova right now, though, is the new expansion, Marine Worlds. Most notably, the expansion addresses the biggest complaint about Ark Nova. The game has over 200 cards and relies heavily on luck to find the card that you need. But new card effects in Marine Worlds make it easier to cycle through the cards and help players find what they're looking for. Another huge addition to this expansion is alternate action cards. Whereas the base game gives every player an identical set of 5 action cards, these new, unique, and improved action cards will essentially give everyone a unique player power. The next game is Earth, which is a 1-to-5 player tableau building game about growing a synergistic ecosystem. The objective is to score the most victory points through planting flora, i.e. adding cards to your tableau, in satisfying objectives. The most distinguishing characteristic about Earth is that most of the action occurs with every player acting at the same time. Players take turns acting as the active player, who chooses one main action while every other player benefits from the minor action. Then, the color of the chosen action triggers every card of the matching color in everyone's tableau. There are many directions you can go to achieve victory, so what makes Earth interesting is the challenge of capitalizing on the particular cards that come your way. You'll want to achieve effective synergy between the cards you're dealt, the public and private objectives, and a balance across all actions and card types. If this mechanic is interesting to you, it is worth comparing Earth to the next game, Raising Robots. The next game is Raising Robots, which is available as a Kickstarter right now. This is a tableau building game with a striking resemblance to Wingspan, Gizmos, or Earth. At the beginning of each round, players will secretly select 2 actions out of a possible 5 and apply energy to those actions. Some of the energy will be used only for you, and sometimes it'll be shared with other players. When everyone's selection is revealed, everyone simultaneously will perform the actions using the energy that's available to them, both their own energy and the shared energy that came from their opponents. What this means is that even though you will select 2 actions, you might perform several more actions based on the selection of your opponents. Of those 5 actions, 3 are associated with their own row in your tableau of robot cards. Like Wingspan, choosing the action will trigger the card effects. The other 2 actions are what you must choose to build a robot or upgrade your player board. Given the simultaneous gameplay, Raising Robots is swifter than Wingspan, but not as finicky as Earth. I expect it'll be very popular after it hits retail. The next game is Pedal to the Metal by Days of Wonder. This game is available but was recently sold out, so more copies are coming soon. Heat Pedal to the Metal is a deck builder much like Quest for El Dorado or Clank. This is a racing game where players will try to play speed cards from their hand to move their car around a track. Though you have a hand of 7 cards, the number of cards you can play on your turn depend on what gear you're in. First gear can play 1 card, second gear can play 2 cards, etc. The challenge in Heat, however, is that if you take a corner too fast or shift gears too quickly, you'll add heat cards to your deck. Heat cards are dead cards that can't be discarded. The only way you can get rid of a heat card is to cool down by slowing down. Stress cards are like heat cards in that they can't be discarded, but unlike heat, you can play them for speed. The thing with stress cards, however, is that you can't control your speed. Each stress card has you draw from your deck at random. Heat, Pedal to the Metal comes with multiple tracks and ways to modify play, but I question whether its mechanic makes it stand out from similar deck building games. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully I was able to convey the core of what these games are about and you may be as excited about them as I am. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.